Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is United vs. Everybody. I am your host, Sean, and we are back with another Man United News Roundup. Now, some of this we discussed, or I at least discussed a little bit yesterday in some of those shorts I put out. Obviously, yesterday wasn't able to do a live stream, had class, had a lot going on yesterday, but I was able to stop by now and then to just kind of put out a couple of few. You could probably call those like previews, because what happens is obviously we talk about it either later on that day or we're talking about it today, the next day. Look, maybe it's like a John Oliver situation, like last week tonight kind of a thing. So anyway, we always make sure we stop by and do the live stream, even when the news is from yesterday, because I haven't had a chance to hear your thoughts on everything yet. That's why I do the channel. I don't care about just sitting here spouting off nonsense. I could walk around my house and do that all day by myself. I want to know what you guys think. The United vs. Everybody community, the best community on YouTube, in my opinion. Maybe a little biased, but fuck it. Who cares? I love you guys. We are going to do all that today because drama going to drama and saga's going to saga as we take a look at some of the latest and greatest Victor Gyokeres stuff. We've got some reports that United have set their sights on a new striker, and maybe, as I discussed yesterday, there's a small detail on the Brentford website, particularly the store, that could indicate Brian Mbuemo's future. So we're going to talk about that. I want to get your thoughts. And of course, we might have a new signing that it's good to discuss. So we're going to do that every day. So make sure you go watch that keep sell video from the other week that I did with Dylan. You guys remember chilling with Dylan. That was a fun little video. If you haven't yet watched episode 7 of What If, it is the penultimate episode of season 2. Go check that out. Remember, I did post a little question there at the end with a preview of the season finale, which will be dropping probably early next week or so. I got a couple things going on, but that will be a fun one. Could be a big one. I don't know if I want to do that live or not, but I asked you guys to do that. You guys let me know. Go back and watch that video. If you already know what the finale is going to be, let me know if you want to maybe do a live thing for that. Could make it longer, but it could make it funner. More fun? Just go with it. I know words. It's going to be a big one, though. So remember, the What If videos, they're not just me having a laugh, right? They're not just me like just picking possibilities and things out of thin air. As you saw from all the other episodes, a lot of the what if, a lot of the alternate possibilities could have very easily happened based on, who we were in for, what was going on at the time, or very nearly did happen. That's the whole point of the what if, is some of these key moments could have swung either way. And that's what we're talking about. Some of the transfer targets, for instance, those very nearly happened. And there are quotes to go back that up, like that Lewandowski video we did. There are quotes on there to back it up. So, and that includes the finale, big historical stuff, quotes, facts, all that stuff from the finale. So keep that in mind. Let me know your thoughts on that. Like the video if you haven't yet. I know I've been rambling for 3 minutes now. Make sure you subscribe if you are new. We are on the road to 3K. Go check those memberships real quick. That helps you get involved in all sorts of content on the channel. Do love to see you guys getting more involved. I really would want the members to take advantage of the membership. It isn't just a, hey, Sean gets a little bit of money and I get a cool symbol and emojis. You get access to like a lot of the content related stuff. So go check out the details of those perks. And then, of course, go check out the UVE store. Tons and tons of new designs dropping every single day. This one literally just dropped this week. This is the Warrior shirt, as you can see. One of my favorite all time. Met this guy at the airport last year. Super nice guy. Like, made time to chat for a couple minutes. He is, when you think of the word warrior, as you can see the definition there, he is literally the epitome of the warrior. I got some baby stuff on here now for the kiddos and everything. Let me go down to the kiddos. So anyone who's got a little future red in training of their own at home, you can get yourself a little onesie. Big shout out to Justin, who's got a little kid. And then the newly revamped 7 shirt, as you guys can see. I'll zoom that in for you as well. All the great 7s. You've got Robbo, you've got Cantona, you've got Best, you got Ronaldo, and you've got Bex, or should we say Sir Bex, on there as well. That was a fun one to make. And then we'll do one more. We got the newly designed Madness shirt featuring our number 16 in all his glory. So tons and tons of stuff on there, you guys. Make sure you go checking those out because they are fun. They are excellent little designs, one-of-a-kind design by yours truly, not too expensive. I didn't do it for the money. I did it because they are fun to do. So how's everybody doing tonight? Friday night? Anybody getting up to anything on Friday? I had a staff meeting today. I had to go to a staff meeting, and I complain about it. It's not. It's a long staff meeting. It's a lot to go over and stuff. But I'm so introverted that talking with multiple people, even over something like that, as like a lunch thing, wears me out. But it is what it is. It's part of owning a business. Let me see who's jumping in the chat. Casper, big up, Casper. Good evening. What's going on? Yep, we're talking about Mbeumo. We're talking about Gyokeres. We are here you're in the right place if you came to discuss the news, Casper. But big up. Casper's jumping ahead. You can't skip ahead of the line. But yes, we will be talking about Ekitike rumors as well. Once all this scaremongering about Mbeumo, we're going to talk about that, my friend. Danny B, big up, man. How's my Irish brother from another mother doing, man? Any South American kids you want me to take a look at? I haven't done the scouting report today. You guys just got one of those the other day with Lennon Miller. But big up. Danny thinks it's a bluff. I think it is a bluff personally, but we are going to talk about it because I want your thoughts. John, welcome to the channel. John Vandersar said that Onana should still be a goalkeeper next season. What is my take? Well, we can talk about that too. I did see that a little bit from Vandersar. Now, you guys know if you've been watching the channel for any length of time that I am not a fan of Andre Onana. I think that he is a net negative. I think he costs us more than he actually helps us if you add up all the negatives and the positives, or the points we've dropped versus the points he's helped us win, matches lost. I was at a few games that just demonstrated some very high-profile errors from him. The Galatasaray at home, Brighton this past season at home as well. He's so bad at so many key areas of goalkeeping. He's really the only thing he makes a save now and then, which you can't make. Fair play, you make a save, that's your job. But he just, and he's good on the ball, not distribution wise, but like he's comfortable on the ball, right? And so he's good at building out from the back. But if you look at really what your keeper is required to do when it comes to building out from the back, you don't need to be like 100% fantastic on the ball to be able to do that, right? You just got to have a little bit of composure and just halfway decent on the ball, which honestly any professional footballer should be. So I don't really need to like think we need to prioritize a keeper whose best attribute is composure and like being good on the ball, if that makes sense. I want you to make saves. I want you to command your box, which means come off your line, not shit yourself when the opposition gets within 20 yards of your goal, not palm shots back into the center of the box. And communicate. Like, that's very basic. I like commanders, people who are strong, confident in that back line, whether it's defenders or goalkeeper. That's my problem with Onana. Big up, Rob. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Danny is heading out with the missus. Well, hopefully you guys enjoy your evening, my friend. You'll have to catch up on the recap tomorrow. But big up, man. Hope you guys have a good night. Where are you guys going? I've been to Boston Airport. I've been to Falmouth. So when I was in New England, I was at Falmouth. We went to the Vineyard, stayed at, I think it's Surfside. We stayed there for a little bit, hung out there, did some fishing and whatnot. So, but big up. Hope you guys have a good night. No. Rob says, new keeper will make a huge difference to the team. The defense can't have any faith in Andre. I have zero faith. And like I said yesterday, I don't trust Andre Onana to take a number one, let alone be our number one. But it is what it is. Danny says, Matthias Acevedo, Racing Club, but I think it brought him up. Felipe Riquelme. Interesting. Danny says, one of his favorites targets is heading to West Ham. I read that Alvarez could be leaving West Ham. Maybe he's going to go replace him. I don't know, but let's jump into some news here. But yes, John, hopefully that answered your question about how I feel about Onana. I mean, obviously Van der Sar is going to back Onana. He was CEO of Ajax when Onana was there. Obviously, he's got those connections. And obviously, he's not going to come out and just blast him. I think Van der Sar is a classy guy, but I think anyone with half a brain and one eyeball can see that Onana just ain't. The guy's just got no confidence. And he might put off this bravado in pressers or whatever, like I'm confident, but he's just, you could see it in his eyes, man. You can see how he's glued to his line. He has, like, I fully blame him. Like, he carries a lot of responsibility for that goal we conceded in the final. I thought that he was just absolutely shambolic for that. And it's not the first time he's done stuff like that. So you guys remember that goal we conceded against Forest, that long range shot from way outside the box that Onana just sat down on this goal mouth? Like, what are you doing, dude? He's so bad. Casper has been really hot in the UK today. Interesting. Yeah, with the heat, you always do get the thunderstorms, my guy. But hopefully you're staying cool. I know the air conditioning situation is a little different out there in the UK, but it's been pretty decent here today. I'm not gonna lie. Had I not had so much stuff to do today, I really wanted to get out and go do some disc golfing, but maybe tomorrow. I tend to avoid that stuff on the weekends because that's when everybody goes out and does that stuff. But Danny says, "Oh, not a shit. Forget about any expectations." Yeah, maybe they're just thinking with Cunha, Mbeumo, Gyokeres. If they just think if we can just always score one more at least, then we concede. Maybe we'll be. Oddly enough, like for the most part, I think the defense is fine. I think we need to work on our set piece defending because we do struggle to clear the area. But it's just Onana, man. It's like eventually the ball's going to get to you, and it's a bit harsh. You can think because if your striker makes a mistake, for instance, like loses the ball high up the pitch, he's got his whole team behind him to kind of make up for that mistake. But generally speaking, the ball gets to the keeper. He is the last line of defense. And if a keeper makes a mistake, it's usually going to mean you're conceding a goal. There's keepers, they are in a bit of a spotlight in that regard. So I don't envy them in that regard. It is a high pressure situation, which is why even when you're not very active or getting as involved or forced to do a whole lot in a match, you have to constantly stay switched on because you just never know when you're going to be called upon in a given moment. And so it's difficult to stay in that form. So Lucky, big up Lucky. Hope you're doing my focus bidding now, Sean. 62.2. There it is. Daddy says, I hope we get Bolka cheap enough. Bolka would be an excellent addition. You guys know that I do like Marcin Bolka. There's a lot of good keepers out there, honestly. I was looking at Yvan Diouf earlier today over at Nans. I think is he Nans or Toulouse? I can't remember now off the top of my head. It's funny because I was looking at him. It might be Roms too. One of those French clubs, Diouf, 25-year-old keeper. I think they got relegated, so now he can probably leave for pretty cheap. Very good keeper, good percentiles. I like him a lot. Reminds me a little bit of when we got De Gea, just because he is a bit skinnier, a bit taller physically, but he is a very good keeper. So Lucky says, Brian and Mbeumo, that's where main priority is. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We're going to talk about Mbeumo. I'm still getting through the hellos here, man, because you guys are all having all sorts of stuff. Rob says, Bolka sounds good, man, not too expensive. And I mean, it's Nice. Maybe we can exercise a little bit of the Sir Jim Ineos connection and throw them a player to help them out for a little bit. Maybe someone like a Kone or something. Maybe go let him get a season on loan, and then we can always bring him back if we need to, a la David Beckham at Preston North. I think that could be win-win for everybody. I mean, maybe send Vitek to Nice on loan or something. Danny says Lamens, Lunin. Lunin is the one that I mentioned the other day as well that I think people need to keep an eye on because he did sign that new contract not that long ago, but he's not going to want to sit there and be backup the whole time. He's too good to be a backup. I really like Lunin a lot. I think you can get him for a snip. Madrid keeps spending a lot of money. They might be looking to get someone off the books. I think you could get him for relatively cheap. Danny says send Shaw out there and tell him to stay there. You're funny, man. But first things first, as we move on to some news, because I'm just having fun catching up with y'all. Big up Sir David Beckham. Our living legend has been knighted in recognition of his services to sport and charity, which is kind of why I brought up the 7 shirt. So big up there. But I know he was made, he got his OBE like 20 years ago, but he's been waiting for the knighthood. I think they put it off because of some other public stuff. But big up Sir David Beckham. He joins a slew of Man United players and legends who have all been recognized for their services to their country. So big up Bex, 50 years old, getting knighted, doing excellent work, charity, service to sport, all of that. We love you, Bex. One of the most, in my opinion, one of the most underrated United players. And I only say that people are like, how can you say he's underrated? I'm like, because I think he's recognized more for being a star, and people forget just how good he was. Just like Ollie. Ollie is, in my opinion, extremely underrated as a player. If you go back and just watch what he did. But go watch Beckham play. Try to forget who he was for a second. Imagine that you have no idea who this guy was. Watch him play, and you're going to be like, all right, no, I got this. But also Manchester United fan Gary Oldman knighted. Big up Sirius Black. Anyone? What are some of your favorite Gary Oldman films? Let me know what you're thinking today. Let me see what Lucky says. Ben Jacobs made something clear. Manchester United, if allow a player to go straight first team. Mount, Zirkse, Patrick Dorgu. Interesting. Teresa, welcome back, Teresa. Good to see you again. Hi, everyone. Don't know if it means anything. Watch the videos with the new kit. Casemiro, Menu. Mount had numbers on their shirt. Ahmad, Maguire, Onana, no number. Some of them might be going through a bit of a number change. Ahmad did put out something that said a 16 or something. I'm not sure what that meant. Maguire, I didn't see the back of Onana's shirt, but like we talked about the other day, yesterday when the kit was released, you noticed there was one person that at least I noticed for sure was not involved in the shoot, and that was Alejandro Garnacho. So I thought that was a bit telling. So let me know if there's anything like that. But yeah, we talked about that the other day, Casper. Gomez going to Marseille. I know a lot of people were thinking him. Casper says he loved Beckham. I love Beckham. Like, he's such a good player, man. Danny says Beck's free kicks were guaranteed money. That the guy was just, and it's funny. One of my favorite ones was one. It wasn't even for United. It was for England. You guys know the one I'm talking about, the one against Greece. The commentary too. You know, Beckham could raise the roof here with a goal, and boom, goal. And it's just back when the baggy shirts and the baggy shorts were a thing. You know, we kind of went tight in like the 80s. Super baggy in the 90s, and now we're going tight again a little bit, but it was awesome. Was he included in the second video? I saw like one video and I saw a lot of photos. I did not see Garnacho in any of those at the time. So maybe they've released more since then, but big up, thanks for letting me know. I didn't. So yeah, there you go. Danny says Bex was clutch. Bex was absolutely clutch, man. That's like people who want to go on and on about like Trent or something. Like, Beckham was absolutely clutch, man, like left and right. I mean, the guy scored goals with his left, goals with his right, goals with his head. He put that ball anywhere you wanted to. What foot do you want? What toe do you want this ball on when I put it in the box? Like, guy was an absolute beast. But yeah, Gary Oldman, big up. United fan Gary Oldman getting knighted, and Sir David Beckham. Love it. Cunha is official. So obviously it's old news now, but I wanted to hear you guys' thoughts on that because all that was featured on United's website. He was their top priority this summer, according to Jason Wilcox, who obviously is our new director of football, pictured here with the signing, 5-year deal plus the option for an extra year. So we got him here holding up that new shirt. What do you guys think of that new shirt anyway? Like I said yesterday, the other day, I was a little underwhelmed by it, but and then we got him here rocking the new shirt. Adel, tell me that don't slap, man. The guy looks just ready. He looks like he was just made for that, and it just took us a little while to get him here. But now you notice, though, the BBC is twerking for Cunha now that he's signed and everything, hoping that he forgets about that walking stat bullshit they posted the other week. Fucking Muppets. So the media is just ridiculous. They will literally flow whatever they think like popular opinion is, and now they're all twerking for him because they want to get on his good side. Freaking dicks. Anyway, oh boy, that's funny. So let's move on here. So Gyokeres, I know. I'm tired of hearing it too. I'm tired of talking about it almost. I just want it to get done. Danny is not a fan. I'm not, like I said yesterday, and you guys will see if you go to the post part of the channel, you'll see the example I put up. I wish they would have done the collar style differently. So I posted the Real Madrid kit that has the collar style that I would have wanted the home kit to have. But it's not like it's horrible. It's underwhelming. It just could have been better. But everybody's got, their own feel for it. So Casper is really happy with the Cunha signing. So big up there. Gyokeres, though, because let's just talk about this other day. Danny says the other day, Gyokeres deal will drag into the end of July. I mean, it's not surprising. I think we have to keep in mind that, the transfer window opened in June for like the first time ever. We usually don't get any signings till mid-July. We usually don't get kit releases till mid-July. Everything started like a month earlier. So everyone complaining and being impatient, like, why haven't we signed him? We've literally signed one. We've signed two technically, and we've got a youngster in there as well. And it's June. Literally, it's a month earlier than we ever do summer signings. So I think that it's, comparatively speaking, we still have another 2 months to get stuff done. This Club World Cup nonsense kind of threw everything into disarray. But let's do a quick recap about about Gyokeres, just so we can all get caught up. You guys are probably sitting here wondering, like, why do you keep moving around? Because this chair I'm in is super uncomfortable. No matter how I sit in it, I keep sliding down, like me sliding down. Maybe it's because I'm wearing jersey and like mesh shorts, so it's slippery. I don't know, but I have to keep like rearranging myself. So let's go through this timeline here. United linked to Gyokeres. Arsenal linked to Gyokeres. 60 million plus 10 fee reported. That's the gentleman's agreement. Gyokeres reportedly open to the United project, despite us not being in Champions League football. Arsenal reportedly not interested. United in constant contact. Sporting president denies any agreement for a 60 million plus 10 million add-ons deal, basically calling Gyokeres' agent a liar and a blackmailer. United and Arsenal linked again, and then reportedly both are prepping bids after meeting with Gyokeres' agent. Whoo, and breathe. Did I cover it all? Well, that brings us to yesterday, and Fabrizio Romano reporting that Sporting are now, I guess, going to accept roughly £70 million for Gyokeres. Sounds straightforward, right? Well, not so fast, because Gyokeres himself has finally entered the chat. I'm sure you guys all saw this. I posted it yesterday. This is what he threw out on Instagram. Now, I don't have Instagram, so I don't know what else is going on. But it says, there's a lot of talks at the moment. Most of it is false. I will speak when the time is right. It's always interesting when the players or anybody posts just like the black screen image with the, like, it's so ominous. It's so foreboding. It's so like suspenseful, right? Like you know what you're doing there. What are you guys' thoughts on this? Because it's interesting. You know, we've got the president talking about things. We've got the manager talking about things. We've got Gyokeres talking about things. It's so crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. Oh, Danny says 70 million euro in add-ons bonuses will get it done. Yeah, that's probably what we're going to be doing, which is still a steal in my opinion. Honestly, if you think about it, it's like for what you're getting, prime age, like you're going to get 5-6 years at this level out of him. I think that, and the guy is, you're buying goals, basically. You spend 60 million, he gets you, even if he gets you 30 million, no, you're spending 2 million per goal, or 30 goals. You're getting 2 million per goal. You're spending 2 million per goals, basically. Again, if you look at how many goals, I think we scored 54, 59 goals or something as a club last season. If you look at what Cunha did, what Mbuemo did, and what Gyokeres did, it's like more than that. Just three players will last year score more goals than our entire squad did all season. Like, add to that Bruno, and add to that the kind of chances that Bruno creates. And you got Ahmad as well, Dorgu feeding crosses into the box if he improves on that. Like, I think you're going to see our goals. I think you're going to at least minimum see, I'm trying to think. I would say 30 goals in the league minimum. Definitely 40 more goals in the league minimum. Overall, all comps, you're seeing a lot more. I think these guys are guaranteed goals, and I think that we just got to find the balance and get it all working. It's hard to introduce all these first-team players all at once, but I like what I see so far. What are you guys saying here? I did put a poll out there. Are we ever going to sign Gyokeres? I want to know what you guys think. Like he says, up to Manchester United to act on a deal. Yeah, I think right now it's going to be about priorities too. Caspers, I do think we'll sign Gyokeres. I'd be really happy to have him at United. Lucky says, I love Ben Jacobs. He finally got a transfer right here. Teresa, what do you got for me? In my humble opinion, Gyokeres might not going to join United. What's happening, much like what Rashford, Garnacho, perhaps Ronaldo did, not something Amorim will accept. It's interesting. I mean, Amorim did work with Gyokeres at Sporting, so I'm not sure why he wouldn't accept it. Personally, yeah, let me know what you mean by that, Teresa. What do you think he's not going to accept? Cash says, I'm worried in case we don't get him. I'm a bit worried if we don't sign him, but I'm not losing it. Georgie7 thinks Mbuemo is going to Spurs. Well, we're going to talk about Mbuemo here shortly, but big up, Georgie. Good to see a new face in the chat, man. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, please, too. We are on that road to 3K. I think with your help, we can get there. I believe in you. So yeah, that brings us to yesterday. Gyokeres posting that cryptic kind of Instagram post. Now I've seen a Swedish outlet report that Gyokeres' agent has now claimed reportedly to have in his possession written evidence of Sporting's gentleman's agreement for that 60 million plus 10 million add-on deal that the president reportedly denied making. And then today, Florian Plettenberg, aka Plettigol on Twitter, claims that Sporting have given Gyokeres assurances that he will be allowed to leave this summer for that agreed upon price, that 60 million poundish deal. Now, it's being reported too that Sporting, I guess, again, allegedly that they don't want to get into some sort of legal dispute. And I don't know where that comes from. If there's any legal dispute that's applicable here, that would only mean that there is actual evidence of this gentleman's agreement in someone's possession, whether that's a text or an email or recorded video. I don't know. The only way there would be a legal issue is if there were evidence and somebody's like, it's interesting. And then we've got this other guy, this Swedish journalist, very highly regarded Swedish journalist, Erik Niva, who firmly believes that Gyokeres will be a United player next season. So we are brought up to speed. Let's see how this shakes out. What are you guys saying in the chat? I asked, will Man United sign Gyokeres? 80% of you say yes. 20% of you say no. Big up for getting involved. So it sounds like you guys think it's going to happen. Danny thinks it's going to drag on a little bit. If it drags on, it's because for some reason we are unable to handle multiple deals at once. But it does sound like we're multiple. Like Romano is constantly saying we are in continual contact with Gyokeres. Amorim obviously knows him. They've got the DMs open. They're chatting. They're doing whatever. They're going to hang out, eating some of that calamari and stuff that people love out in Lisbon. I hear Portugal is really nice. Apparently, Portugal is super cheap to live in, too. Justin, and you guys know who I went to Manchester with this past year. He's going there for a wedding next spring, and I'm, super jealous. If he gets to go over to, a Sporting or a Porto or a Benfica match, I'm going to be extremely jealous. But let's see. Lucky Singh says, Ben Jacobs Fabrizio. Don't sleep on Ornstein either. I got time for Ornstein as well. Ornstein's a pretty good guy. Laurie Whitwell, good one as well. So, sticking with strikers, let's say we don't sign Gyokeres, right? Reportedly, according to Florian Plettenberg, we could have an alternative option on the list, another name. So, according to Plettigol, United have reportedly now entered the race for Hugo Ekitike. Now, I put out that short yesterday just to kind of give you a little preview of what we're talking about, kind of get you to prep your mindset for this. So, Hugo Ekitike, amazing season for Frankfurt. Nobody can deny that. 22 goals, 12 assists. Excellent season. Nothing wrong with that, right? Now, Plettigol alleges that we've reached out to kind of check and see what Eintracht Frankfurt would demand. I imagine they're going to demand a lot. They just sold Marmoush in January, and Ekitike stepped up to fill that void. They're not going to want to get rid of both those key players. I mean, we could send them Højlund in exchange, part exchange, or maybe send him on loan, see how he does. But I don't think they're going to want to have to replace another striker. But reportedly, 100 million euros is the reported price, which is about 85 million pounds. So 85 million pounds for Hugo Ekitike is a lot of money. I'm going to throw out something here and see what you guys think here. Is 85 million pounds too much for Ekitike? All right, you guys hit me with it. Let me know what you guys think about that one. Let me see what we're thinking in here. Samuel Mark Ingram, welcome to the channel. Good to see a new face. Got a couple new faces in here, you guys. Love it. Say Manchester United should sell Harry Maguire, Jadon Sancho, Joshua Zirkzee, Luke Shaw, Marcus Rashford, Mason Mount. This is big talk, man. I don't think Harry Maguire is going anywhere, but I hear you when you say maybe we should sell him. We lost Lindelof. We lost Evans. Leach is out injured. We've got an 18-year-old in Aiden Heaven. We've got a young Lenny Yoro. We've got DeLitt and Mazraoui. Am I missing anyone? Shaw could fill in, I guess. But our center back options, we have a lot, but at the same time, do we? Because we've got youngsters, we've got injured players. You guys know I would want to bring in another left-sided center back. I wanted Bashali on a free. That didn't happen. It is what it is. There are tons of defenders out there, I think, that I've done videos on a couple of them. You guys can go check out some of the scouting reports I've done. Nothing to worry about there. But Rashford's probably gone. Mount, I mean, Amorim loves Mount. I don't think Mount's going anywhere. Shaw, obviously, I would sell Shaw. I've been doing Shaw replacement videos since last spring when I was just done with this guy's injuries. So I've done so many left back videos. I can't even. I'm like any left back I mentioned now, you guys will have already heard me talk about. Sancho, I think, is out the door. Xerxes, we just bought. I mean, I think that's a bit harsh in my opinion on Xerxes. I think he's really turned it around. He's really found a role in this side in terms of just being that ball progressor. He's very, very good with his feet. His favorite spice is nutmeg, apparently, if you guys watch this shit. But big up, Samuel. Good to get involved. Good to see a new face. Don't be a stranger. Casper says, Hugo Ekitike. I don't mind if we get Ekitike, but 100 million pounds. It's 85 million pounds. It's 100 million euros. But 100 million is too much. I take him if we get Gyokeres. Yeah, I personally think that's way too much for Ekitike. So far, 100% of you say you're right. 5 votes. Get involved in the voting. I want to know what you guys' thoughts on that price tag for Ekitike, but because that's a lot of money. But there is a former United player, former United striker, former young striker up and coming who was causing all sorts of buzz when he was coming through, and he's had his say on Hugo Ekitike. So Wayne Rooney is apparently a huge fan of Hugo, and he has this to say. He says, Osimhen and Gyokeres are premium, but if United want Osimhen's younger prototype at half the fee, Ekitike is right there. Sharp in the air, loves to shoot at any given chance. Pray United makes the best decision. That's coming from Wayne Rooney. Now, the half the fee part, obviously, that's wide of the mark because he's going to cost more than Osimhen's going to cost. So this is sort of a moot point here coming from Waza. But, I mean, I can see where he's coming from, right? Because he's this young player. He's got a lot to offer. He's up and coming. And I get the concept behind that. I think in an ideal world, you'd have someone like an Osimhen, and then you'd have like the younger version of him as well. Like, what we should have done with Højlund. We were trying to go for Harry Kane and Højlund. We didn't want to spend more than 60 on Højlund. We ended up spending a little bit more. But he was our only striker. We needed someone a little older. And that's ideally what you want to do when you get a 20-year-old striker. Your 20-year-old striker should not be your starting striker at Manchester United. That's just asinine, in my opinion. That was poor recruitment, in my opinion. I think that we have done more harm to Højlund in that regard than good. Now, he hasn't helped himself this year, Højlund, because he's just his confidence looks shot. His form has been shit. The simple things he makes look like 100 times harder than they need to be. What does he have, like 4 goals in the league this season? It's just not good enough. And that doesn't come down to the confidence more or even the way we've been playing. That does play a role, but he's just got to do better. It's so up and down with him, mostly down. But Samuel says, how about Manchester United sign Alessandro Bastoni? I like Bastoni a lot. I think he's a very, very, very good defender. He did not cover himself in glory in that final, but then again, nobody in that Inter side covered themselves in glory. That was one of the worst finals. That looked like an absolute just public beating. That was like a training match for PSG. They barely had to try. They barely had to try. Inter were so bad. Like DeMarco, who you guys know, he was having an absolute mare. You could tell within the first 5 minutes that match was only going to end one way. But yeah, Bastoni's very, very good. I like him a lot. Sam says, Manchester United should sign Hayden Hackney. Now you're talking my language. If you've been following the channel for a while, you know that I absolutely love Hayden Hackney. We're getting ready to talk about him in a couple seconds, so stick around, Samuel. Lucky says, Anthony Santos bidding war start, Atletico Madrid. Bayer. I don't think Leverkusen can afford his wages. I definitely don't think Real Betis can afford his wages, but I would love if Ten Hag brought him to Leverkusen. They are getting a huge, huge windfall. Obviously, Frimpong's gone. Wirtz is gone as well. They are going to be getting some money, so they will have a lot of change to work with. I think Jonathan Tah is leaving for free, right? So they're going to have to replace him as well. Like he says, my targets, mostly Premier League players have mixed. Yeah, I know people do like the Premier League proven thing. You guys know how I feel. I don't think it's necessarily a guarantee, but that doesn't mean that it's not a factor. So I think that people like Bruno have shown that you don't have to be from the Premier League to do well in the Premier League. He came in and he's been dominated since he arrived, but we'll see. Dries says, Xerxes and Rasmus were also in the second kit video. Must admit, I'm confused. Well, Xerxes definitely probably going to be here. Rasmus, I think we all need to prepare for the truth that Rasmus is probably going to be here unless he just decides, or Amorim just decides flat out, we don't want him. But I think we probably need to prepare for that because I don't know how that's going to look, but we will see. Suntos Flow, welcome. I'm loving all the new faces. Big up. Rasmus needs to go. Free up the number 9 shirt. He's just not worthy of the number. Well, I can guarantee you that if Gyokeres shows up, Rasmus is he's losing that number 9 shirt. Unless we just give Gyokeres like another number. So Mbuemo is probably going to want that 19 shirt. Who rocks the 19 right now? Does anybody? I know Varane have the 19. I don't think anybody has the 19 now, right? Cunha is probably going to want that number 10 shirt. Xerxes got the 11. Rasmus is maybe we force Rasmus to wear the number. No, I'm trying to think. What shirt number would Gyokeres get if Højlund was still here? Maybe we just take the 7 off of Mount and give the 7 to Gyokeres. Oh man, yeah, that's interesting stuff. Lots of it. What we got here? Blaze, welcome, Blaze Sunday. Please, man, you should buy Barcola from. I like Barcola a lot. I think Barcola. They have a lot of similar players at PSG. They got Barcola, Dembele, they got Doué, they got all sorts of wide players. PSG need to get rid of a couple players. I think they're going to be getting rid of Kanjin Lee at some point as well. They're probably, Gonçalo Ramos could easily go. I don't know what's happening with Kolo Muani as well. There's PSG, they're doing something good under Luis Enrique. So, obviously they won the Champions League. So, now you're speaking my language, Samuel. Hopefully Onana joined. I don't care where Onana goes. He just has to go. I don't really care where. Get him out of the club. Get a new keeper. Get me Bolka. Get me Lunin. Get me Lamens. Get me anybody. I wanted Joan Garcia. He's going to Barcelona. It is what it is. I don't want to talk about it. I'm going to get mad. Blaze says Ekitike is not good. That's why PSG. I think PSG jumped the gun a little too. I think that's when PSG were really trying to be like the Real Madrids of Paris, where they were just signing, trying to scoop up all the big young talent. I think he had one halfway decent season. I think it was at Roms, and then they snatched him up, and then they realized this is a big side. This PSG, we're not really a side for young players. At that time, they're not really a side for young players to kind of come in and develop and learn. And that it's kind of like United right now. We're kind of a bit of a graveyard in that regard, but he's having a good season, but we'll see. It's one season, and £85 million is a lot of money for potential based on just one season. You guys know that I don't like just one season. Older, more established players have struggled to build on breakout seasons like one Ekitike's having. Darwin Nunez, Benfica, Liverpool, he's shit. Andrea Balate, remember him at Torino? Nobody's yet to answer me like, where's Andrea Balati now? He was all the rage and then done. Luka Jovic, same thing. How much did Real Madrid pay for Luka Jovic? Can anyone tell me where Luka Jovic is now? I think he's at AC Milan actually, but I like to have a little bit more sample size than just one season to go off of. I know that's a bit of a risk, but that's also where your recruitment team, your analysts, your scouts, you got your Wilcox, your directors of football, all those. That's where they're going to earn their money, make or break a summer transfer window by just doing their diligence, checking the numbers, looking at personality, things like mentality, things like resilience, the mental strength aspect of it. Look at all that as well and see, does it make, and of course the finances as well. Casper says, I keep hearing about Hayden Hackney, probably because you watch this channel, because that's all I freaking talk about. Teresa says, what number will Leon get? Well, I think the plan for Diego Leon is to go into the U21s or maybe even the U18s, because he did just turn 18. So I don't think he's going to be in and around the first team picture quite yet. Remember, we saw that the other week, that the plan was to put him in with the youngsters, because he is a youngster. He's literally just turned 18. That's why we had to wait till the summer, because he was still 17 when we technically signed him. So, but I think that's the plan right now, is go out there, because we've got Dorgu, Amas, Mazraoui, technically, Ahmad, Dallo as well. I would love to see Camison come in and kind of get some minutes on that right-hand side as well. If not, he definitely needs to go on loan. Maybe send Camison to Nice. Send like 5 players on loan to Nice, some of these youngsters, and bring in Balka. Just get it done. Blaze wants Rasmus Sol. Yeah, I think the writing's on the wall for me. I gave Rasmus time, man, but I think it's done, man. What we got here? Lucky says, Blaze Sunday, you guys are having all sorts of chats. So Moving on to midfield, because you guys are dropping his name a couple times. So journalist Matteo Moretto, who hangs out with Fabrizio, they do a lot of videos together. He's given us a fresh update on United's reported interest in one of my preferred targets, one of those midfield targets. So Moretto claims that United are just one of the clubs interested in signing Club Brugge midfielder Arden Yashari. But now it seems, according to Moretto, that AC Milan are the favorites to sign him. You guys know how much I love Arden Yashari. If we can get Hayden Hackney, Arden Yashari in the midfield pivot, I think our midfield will be set for the next 10 years, like easily. They're so good, both of them. Club Brugge is apparently asking for 35 million euros for Yashari, which is what, like 27, 28 million pounds? I don't know off the top of my head. Super, super cheap for what you're getting. The guy's like 22 years old. Excellent deep lying playmaker. He's got a bit of physicality about him. He loves to get on the ball. He loves to get around the pitch. Of course, this move does make a lot of sense for AC Milan. They just sold Johnny Reinders to Man City. I think that Yashari makes a lot of sense for us, though, too. We do need someone in that midfield who can get the ball in the first phase of attack, because Bruno's either got to play in the pivot and do that, but then you put Bruno in the pivot, you got no one up top who can create chances. This is where we've been this last season. I think, obviously, it's going to change with Mbuemo and Cunha as well, but if Bruno plays deep, we've got no one up front, and I would like to see someone like a Hackney, like a Yashari come in. Problem is, we've got Collier, we've got Mainu, we've got Bruno, who goes all over the place. Mount can play deep. We've got Casemiro, we've got Ugarte. We've got a lot of players. Now, I'm not saying that because those players are all Man United like quality, but we have to get this. We have to make some hard choices. I don't think anyone's going to buy Casemiro. I think Ugarte. I still think there's a chance Ugarte could leave. He has barely played the last few matches of the season. Did not get a minute against Spurs in the final. 20 minutes against Chelsea ahead of that. Like, if he wasn't going to play a minute in the final, why did he only get 20 minutes against Chelsea? Like, Ugarte was at Sporting, and Amorim let him go to PSG. So he was signed for Ten Hag, Ugarte. So again, all those considerations in mind, I think there's a chance you could see Ugarte leave this summer, and maybe we opt for someone who does have a bit of that physicality, but can also offer a little bit more on the ball. And that's not even to say Ugarte is bad on the ball, but there are players out there like Yashari, like a Hackney, who are better on the ball and are still defensive-minded as well. You need players who are going to operate like old-school midfielders from like the 90s, like your Kinos, like your Scholesies, and not just specialists necessarily, not just that my job is only to win the ball or my job is only to play make. I'm talking about your João Neves, these guys, players who can do a little bit of everything. But he makes sense for us as well. Like I've said many times, it is a toss-up for me any given day, whether I want Yashari or Hackney. In an ideal world, I would have both, but it is what it is. This is real life. This is an FC 25, which I'm going to go play when I'm done here. But still, 45 million pounds total could get you both Hackney and Yashari, 45 to 50 million. That's a steal. That's a bargain. It's very tempting. They're both very, very, very similar in many ways. But I think that the areas that they are different too complement each other very well. So this is their numbers. If you look on FBref, you can see very, very, very similar. Now, what you get from Hackney is a little bit more of that ball progression. And what you get from Yashari is just a little bit more of the creation there. So Hackney's a little bit more of the physical. If you think of Hackney, kind of think of like what Casemiro does a little bit. Got a bit of that defensive qualities, kind of patrol, kind of act as a little bit of a wall. But when he's on the ball, he gets it forward, and he does have a knack for kind of making these third-man runs, Hackney. Yashari, very, very silky, very good at moving that ball forward. They're very similar. And so I like what I see from a lot of this. You're going to see, like I said, Yashari, a little bit more of that pass assist creation, that final ball is in there. Hackney, a little bit more of the physicality. Look at the blocks, look at the tackles, interceptions, the aerial duels, the tackles. Both pretty much exact for when it comes to receiving the ball. Like, they're both very, very good. I like them both a lot. Hackney, obviously, he's going to, as Danny B, I think, pointed out recently, Hackney's got, a little bit of the homegrown factor involved there. Obviously, he plays for Middlesbrough, so I do think that plays a role. Might make more sense for us, and maybe even a smoother transition, but I really like him a lot. Let me see what you guys are saying up here. Bop, bop, bop. Blaze thinks United should pick players from Sporting because they're always good for us, even their left defender. Yeah, some of them have proved pretty well. Obviously, Ronaldo worked out for us. Bruno worked out for us. Who else? Did we get Rojo from Sporting? Nani from Sporting? Rojo, you give or take. But Samuel says, United lack a number 9 like Andy Cole, Brian McClary, Chalke, Berbatov, Saha. Yeah, we just lack. We need someone experienced. We need someone who we can't do like Arsenal did the last 5 years and focus on young players and then have to kind of wait for them to get experience and develop. Like, obviously we're built on youth. I love our tradition, but we do have to have a healthy balance. Even the class of 92 had Robbo, they had Pallister, they had all these guys in there helping them out. Cantona as well. You can't just have youngsters and you can't just have the old guys like a Jose Mourinho or a Conte side. So, but yeah, so United again, fresh links to Arden Yashari, but it does sound like AC Milan could be stealing him. Sorry, Danny. I hope you're out with your missus and you didn't see that, Danny. But I think Danny's probably given up on Yashari. There were some big rumors that he'd go to Dortmund. Obviously, they've signed Jude Bellingham's younger brother, Job, from Sunderland for 30 million or something. So they've already gotten the Mecha. Job kind of does a good job. So we will see what happens there. Lucky wants a winger, then a striker. Yeah, we need to sell some players for sure. Casper says, I'll be disappointed if Mbuemo goes to Spurs. I don't think there's anything in the Spurs stuff, to be honest with you, personally. Lucky wants Eze or Mbuemo, Vlahovic. I've never really been a big fan of Vlahovic. I'm not saying I think he's bad. I just never got the hype, personally. I just don't think he's as good as the hype would tell you, personally. But that's just me. It just is what it is. Morgan Rogers, that's a good shout. I like Morgan Rogers a lot. Samuel says United should play Mentato. Yeah, we've mentioned Mentato several times. I think Mentato, Comison, there's tons. I mean, we've done some watch-alongs on the channel for the Academy. When I was there in January, my buddy Justin, who's been on the channel, we went to an FA Youth Cup match. It was United versus Preston North End. That was awesome. Got to watch Cheeto play live. Dude's a freaking unit. Scanlan's doing big things. Kukonki's been in and around the first team picture. Tons and tons of youngsters out there that in the Academy. This is the best the Academy's looked in a long time. Shea Lacey. Yeah, if you're all about the Academy, man, you've come to the right place because we do a lot of Academy content. Like I said, watch-alongs. We talk about the Academy a lot. I'm here for the Academy. And obviously it's personal interest to me. And for those of you who are new, those of you who know, I'm a mental health professional. I work a lot with youth and young men. I've got talent identification badges with the PFSA. I've got sports psychology certifications with the USAA. And I'm currently enrolled in the PFA's business school, their football intelligence, football psychology, emotional intelligence program. I really want to work with youngsters to build mental resilience, to build those mindfulness, those skills, those problem-solving skills at a young age. So when they get to first team football, they are better equipped and better prepared. That is what I would love to do. Being in the States, gonna be difficult, but you never know. I need to get through this program first. We got a summer break now. We'll pick it back up in the fall and it'll be done in November and then we'll see what happens. But I would love the chance to do that personally. But like it says, Manchester United need quick bidding, give player word of mouth. Casper says, going back on Ugarte topic, I'd be a bit disappointed if Ugarte leaves this summer. I don't have a problem with Ugarte. The question is not about if I think he's good or not, because I like Ugarte. I like his fire. I like his attitude. It's just a matter of what amorim. And I'm just simply pointing out the fact that Ugarte barely played the last couple of weeks of the season. Did not play at all in the final. And when I really think we needed his fight and his legs and physicality in that midfield. But it is what it is. I'm just looking at all the other factors involved. So what are we saying here? We got a spam call. Interesting. Samuel says United should look at signing quality goalkeeper Lucas Chevalier from Lille. I like Chevalier. We've talked about him a couple times on the channel. He's out of the keepers that we could sign. He's probably going to be the most expensive one. I like Lunin. I like Bolka. I like Lamens a lot as well. Diouf in the French league is a good one as well. There's Luis Junior, who is at Villarreal, who I think is pretty good too. Some good keepers out there. I think that Chevalier is going to be super, super expensive, but he says we need a number 2. We've got youngsters. We got Heaton, Binder probably is going to leave. I don't think Onana's a priority in terms of sales. You guys know I would sell Onana, but I don't think the club are rushing to sell him. I think it's just a matter of we got to get these other priorities first. We have to make sales. I think it's one of those things, if we get our priority positions first, we make a couple sales, then we explore maybe midfield. I would love to see a more experienced left back. Dorgu's only 20 years old. I'd love to see a center back. But you guys know, going into the summer, keeper was my top priority. Keeper and a striker were my top priorities. He's just so bad. Casper thinks Ugarte is squad depth. I mean, I think Ugarte would not want a squad role. I think he's going to want first team football if he's not starting week in, week out. I don't think he's going to be happy. The question is Casemiro. And this is the problem with United that we've seen. This is a reason why we're stuck in this financial shit show with guys like Rashford and Antony, Sancho, all this, because we pay them too much money. We brought in Casemiro, who was already in his 29 when we signed him. We gave him like a 5-year contract. We paid him 300 and some odd K a week. Like, that was only going to happen. That was only going to swing one way for us. No Saudi clubs are coming in for him, which is surprising to me, honestly. MLS or the Saudi League are like the only two options for Casemiro. I could see him going to like Turkey, maybe Galatasaray, Fenerbahce. They've been linked to him as well, but this is a problem. We can't sell him. He's going to see out his contract. He's going to leave for free in a year. And this is what it is. We've seen that happen with how many players? De Gea, Martial as well. Like, it sucks. It sucks. We shoot ourselves in the foot every single time. Blaze doesn't think he's good enough, Ugarte. I don't want him to be sold, but I do think we need to improve the midfield. We just have a bloated midfield, and I don't know if Amorim's as big a fan as I am, but Blaze says we need our Dean Henderson, our second goalkeeper. He's too good. Yeah. I like Vitek. I wish we would have. I mean, we'll probably end up selling Vitek just like we did Kovar. I liked Kovar as well. But we'll see what happens. I think Leverkusen just signed a keeper, so we'll see if that's a backup for Kovar or not. But yeah, we don't really show a whole lot of love to our academy keepers, do we? We let Joe Pereira go. We let Johnstone go. Dean Henderson obviously went as well. We don't really do very good by our keepers, but it is what it is. Like he says, first winger, Eze and Mbuemo. I like Eze. I'd be surprised. I mean, they're in Europe now, Crystal Palace. Potentially, we'll see. We'll see what happens with this fourth situation. Casper says, you got a point there. I don't know what I said that I had a point. You got to remind me, man. I said a lot there. So if at any point in my rambling I hit on some sort of lucidity, you're going to have to let me know what I did. Big up, Stephanie. Good to see you again. We were just chatting about midfielders because we got some fresh Arden Yashari links. I threw up a little comparison with Hayden Hackney, who I really like, but big up, Stephanie. Good to see you again. Blaze says part of Man United problem is they pay players more money than what they play on the field. Yeah, I give this example I give always is Sancho. So I didn't think we needed Sancho at the time. We'd already had so many right wingers, but Ollie kept chasing. We paid him, and we paid him like $300K a week. What was the long-term plan process there for Sancho on $300K a week? Because it goes one of two ways. Either he comes in and he does really, really well, and then after a couple of years, you're going to have to protect your investment and you're going to have to re-up the contract. But there's only one way up from that $300K a week, and that's $350, $375. That was poor planning. Or he was going to go the route that actually happened and be absolute dog shit in the Premier League because he can't handle it. And now we're stuck with someone who nobody can afford because we paid him too much money. This is the people at United who so many years made the most important decisions at this club are exactly solely responsible for the current financial situation, whether it's the Glazers and the debt, whether it's the Woodwards and the Murtaughs and the Arnold and whatnot, and the PSR situation. They are solely responsible for it, and they should be the ones who are held accountable. They shouldn't just be able to kick the can, pass the buck, and get away scot-free. I think that's absolutely criminal what they've done and what they're getting away with. And I think the way that I'm going to go on a rant. If you guys want to know more thoughts about some of that and what might have been, stay tuned for season finale of the What If season 2, episode 8 drops next week. It will be a big one. So, but big up, man. Catch this about players being on big money. Oh, yeah. Well, good. I'm glad I got one right, man. Big up. Remember, this channel, to me, is not about being right or wrong. These are my opinions. But if you agree and you like, yeah, cool. That's what the the like buttons for. Make sure you guys hitting that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new as well. Stephanie says, sign Sancho, then played him on left wing was madness. I mean, supposedly that's where he likes to play, but I'm like, and Ten Hag did everything he could to try to get Sancho in this squad. He sent him out to work on himself mentally. He tried to play him in an 8. I was at oh man, what match was I? I think it was Southampton not this past season, the season before, when we played him as an 8 in that 4, and we tried like a 4-3-3. It just is what it is. Stephanie giving us the count. Big up, Stephanie. Can always rely on you for that. Big up. That's house go. I don't know what that means. House go at. Scoat. I don't know. Let me know what that means, Lucky. Samuel says Ineos should sell Nice and their F1 shares and buy some players with that money. I've said many times on this channel that we should sell Nice. Sir Jim should sell Nice. He bought it for about 250 million. He could easily sell it for twice that much. And invest that into the stadium, the new stadium build. Invest that into chipping away at some of the debt and things. Like, we've got money for signings. We'll sell players. We'll be fine transfer wise. We need to start getting rid of this debt because it's killing us. I can understand Sir Jim not wanting to pay off someone else's debt. I get that, but at the same time, you knew what you were buying, brother. You got to kick the tires. You got to pop the hood. You got to bring in a second opinion. You knew exactly what you were getting into. You can't just use firing people as your plan A, B, C, D, and E in a way to because it's a drop in the ocean at the end of the day. Yes, our profits are up, but profits are up by not a whole lot. Yes, it's great, but it's not helping our debt at all. So, but it is what it is. That's why I have a Glazers out signal right here. Pop, pop. Stephanie said sliding door settings would be an interesting stream. Elaborate. Let me know. Lyle, big up. Late to the show, but my like has been dropped. Big up, Sean. Yes, big up, Lyle. Good to see you. Better late than never. Big up. Got another new face. I'm loving all the new faces, you guys. New faces. Hit the subscribe button, man. We're on the road to 3K. Like that video. Lubbo23. If Arsenal pulls out of the race, we will have a chance getting Gyokeres. He prefers Arsenal. Where did you hear that from? Because so far what I'm seeing is maybe he prefers United. Haven't been a fan of them since his youth. We are close second due to Amorim. Yeah, and never underestimate the appeal. I think the question is what Arsenal want, because Arsenal seem to be favoring the younger signings, building a younger squad. Now, they've got a couple midfielders that are a little older. I think Zubimende, Marino kind of coming in and shoring up a midfield. So you never know. Don't sleep on that. But the question is just going to be, obviously, where does Gyokeres prefer to go? And so we've seen Cunha prefer United to some other interested parties even before he knew the outcome of the final. We've seen Mbuemo basically tell other interested parties that he just wants to go to United. So again, never underestimate the pull of a project or the pull of United's name. I'm not saying that means we're automatically going to win every transfer battle. I'm just saying don't underestimate the pull of that. Some players do value a project over wages, over Champions League football. They just do. Some players want to be a part of that. They are human beings. They don't just only want the money. So, I mean, Bruno turned down $700K a week to stay at a struggling United side, not in Europe. I mean, that's a big deal. So, but big up, Levo. Welcome to the channel, my friend. Manchester United, or Casper said her papa could be going to Monaco. Yeah, I heard that too. That's an interesting signing for them. I would have thought he would have gone to like Marseille or something, but like he says, Ineos look away selling. I would love them to sell. I would love to keep Lausanne Sport, because I think that could be a good little farm for some of our academy players to go and play first team football. If we're going to keep Nice, then I think that some academy players are good enough to go over to Nice on loan, like your Scanlons, like your Kukonkis, like your Kones. Let Montato, if you're Camasin, Montato, these guys aren't going to be in and around the first team picture, send them on loan. Pull to Chelsea, let other clubs develop them for us. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, it's why you have these systems. It's why loans exist. Samuel says, do you think Joe Hugel should go on another loan? I think at this point, some of these youngsters, not every youngster that comes through is going to make it. It just is what doesn't mean they're shit. It just means they're not going to make it. Doesn't mean they're bad footballers. Plenty of youngsters have gone on loan and done very. Look at Alanga, doing just fine. Dean Henderson, obviously doing just fine. Kovar won everything there is to win, basically, with Leverkusen last season, aside from that final. Like, they're doing just fine. That's part of the plan for the academy too. It's not just to only bring in the next class of 92. Some of it is you come in, you develop, and then some of them are sold. Kembwalas, your Chongs, Alangas. Some of these players need Iqbals. They just get sold. Like, it just is what it is. And so, but I do think that anybody in the academy could make, they just look so good. And it doesn't even touch upon guys like JJ Gabriel, who are so young, but already are playing in the U18 level, even though he's like 14, 15. Academy is very good. But Hugo, I don't think Hugo, I think the writing's on the wall. Like, he's been in and around loans and stuff. Same with Wheatley. Wheatley, I don't think is really in the picture. I mean, we sent him on loan and promoted Cheeto to the first team. So I think, again, it just shows you, like, there's levels to this, but we can make a little bit of cash on Wheatley. So it is what it is. But yeah, Hugo, I always forget about Hugo. We've had a couple of youngsters in and around striker position that I keep forgetting about too. But let's talk about Mbuemo. What are you guys saying here on Ekitike? I forgot to go back. So I asked if 85 million pounds was too much for Ekitike. 95% of you said yes. I think that is too much money too, but I am a little biased. But again, it's more money than Gyokeres is going to cost. It's more money than Oshiman's even going to cost. Now, when you put wages in there, obviously that might change things up, because wages are a big deal. Casemiro makes like 17 million a year salary on his wages alone. That's a big chunk of change. So, and that's on what, like a 375K a week thing, or it's like 300 now without Champions League football. But yes, like Blaze said, we do need to sell players. We do. Like I've said many times, we need to build, not buy. It's not just about spending. It's about how you spend it. And that's been the biggest problem over the last 12 years, is we've not spent money wisely because we've had no structure. We've had no plan. We've just said, well, this manager will fix it, or this one signing will fix it, or, hey, Jose, who do you want? Oh, Jose, 2 years, you're gone. All right, well, instead of trying to plan for a system and build a culture and an identity and an ethos, let's just buy for every manager. That's why we've still got guys like Shaw, guys like Lindelof until recently. We've had a Frankenstein squad of 5 different manager players. And we wonder why we can't get a tune out of them, because they're bought for counterattacking systems or possession-based systems like Louis van Gaal. None of them are bought for the identity of United, because we haven't had an identity since Sir Alex retired. That's just plain and simple what's been the problem at United. And then add to that, like I said, the most idiotic, incompetent people in the world have been making the most important decisions at this club for a long time. So, like he says, I think I've woken up. How bad that is. Well, welcome to the party, pal. Well, the boy says, Højlund is a wrestler, not a footballer. I think part of it is, I agree. He's just, and I think it has a lot to do with youth. We bought him when he was 20, so expecting him to just be the finished article is a bit naive. I'm not saying you're doing that, but I think we haven't done him a whole lot of favors by playing him as a hold-up striker, because that's not his game. Højlund needs to run. Højlund is a Jamie Vardy. He is not a Olivier Giroud or something like that, right? And then Højlund doesn't help himself by just being shit this year. So everybody's got a responsibility. The coaches, your job as a coach, as a manager, is to get the best out of the players. Your job as a player is to work hard, improve, do your job, finish your chances. It's just, everybody's got a role. And it's been shit this season from everybody, no matter how you slice it. But I hear you. I definitely hear you. Man, Cash says Brian Mbeumo news coming. We're talking about it. We got an Mbuemo update. So I put out that short yesterday in between my class periods. So if you remember, so his name and number. So if you go to Brentford's website and you go to the store, you can buy a jersey. Now, every club's got an option to personalize a jersey. You can get your own name. You can get player name and sets and numbers. Mbuemo's name and number have been removed from Brentford's online store as options for personalization. Every other player in the squad's option is there, but there is no number 19. There is no Mbuemo. Possible sign that he's out the door. Let me know what you think. No smoke without fire, you're right. Sometimes it is what it is. You know, you're not looking for what you're looking for instance. You're just looking. Sometimes you got to zoom out the lens and look around, and that's kind of what I've seen there. Now, I know Sky tried to report this morning that Spurs have held talks and he's interested, but I don't necessarily buy it. I think, and another Sky, so it was like Lyle, whatever Sky Sports Lyle is this morning, said that. But then Dharmesh Sheth, who also is a Sky reporter, came out later on today and basically said the exact opposite. But Mbeuemo, we've got those reports from all the credible journalists that he's told you other clubs that he only wants to join United. Reportedly, we are close to an agreement, according to United Muppeteers. We don't want to pay $60 million. He is going into the final year of his contract in Mbuemo. I think there's a reason why we don't just look at it as like Brentford want to look at it as on par with Cunha. Well, Cunha signed a new contract. Mbuemo is entering the final year of his contract. Those are very different situations. We're just apparently the fee and everything is fine. We're just working on the structure. We want, obviously, like I said today, similar to the Cunha deal, we want to try to force a deal that's best for us. Brentford are going to want to force a deal that's better for them. We want to spread things out probably over more years. They want it not spread out over that many years. They want a certain amount up front. This is how transfers work. This is not anything new, anything different than we've seen for years. This is just normal. And Florian Plettenberg, he iterated before I went live that Mbuemo has already got an agreement to join United, that he wants to join United. Rudy Galletti has said the same thing. He wants to join United. I just hope we don't mess around. I hope that some of the Spurs shit is not Brentford playing games, because that would be super annoying. But if it's been, I think we're trying to get Mbuemo, and then we're going to lock up Gyokeres. Well, what about you? What do you should we prioritize Mbuemo? Should we prioritize Gyokeres if the Mbuemo stuff's going to drag on and there's some kind of tricky situation with Gyokeres? Should we maybe go and get that locked up before Mbuemo if that is a priority? What would you guys do? Let me put it in the chat. You guys know I like me some polls. So, pop. Who would you prioritize first? That's not how you spell first. Mbuemo, Gyokeres. Hit me. So, it doesn't mean you have to choose one or the other to sign altogether, right? I'm just saying, which one would you go for first out of maybe fear of missing out on him, maybe potentially of some sort of spanner getting thrown in the works, as they say across the pond. Like he wants to buy 6 smart players. I want to buy mentality monsters, physical players who are resilient, who show initiative, who have fight mentally, physically. That's who I want. Samuel, speaking my language, I think Mbuemo will be wearing a United shirt this season. I think that 19 shirt is waiting for him. That was his shirt at Brentford. You guys let me know what you think in the chat, what the priority would be. Which one would you want to go for first because you're worried about missing out? Blaze says, buying more money players, that's what killed. Yeah, we bought, and that's the thing, we bought the shirt sellers. Now, again, shirt sales is a myth. Don't believe it financially. It's very, very rare that a club makes any sort of significant amount of money from shirt sales. The only times I could think of it happening are Ronaldo. Ronaldo sold so many shirts when we re-signed him a few years back that he actually made his money back, basically. And then the rare occasion where it's inserted into a club's deal with a kit maker, basically a certain amount, you get a certain percentage of the revenue past a certain number of units sold. But that is very club specific with their kit makers. It doesn't happen. Kieran Maguire's, the football financial expert, has written articles about it. Now where shirt sales aren't a myth, like I've said before, is number of units sold. It looks like you're not going to make a ton of money because the kit suppliers have already paid for it. That's fine. You're getting them through Adidas, and the markup's not a lot on shirts. But it does look good to shareholders and whatnot to say, well, we've sold 100 million shirts. That's a lot of shirts. So that's just a little bit more fun here. Let me see what you guys hear. Teresa says, Sean, I'm getting the feeling the hype on Mbuemo sounds like a lot like the Tell hype. Well, we'll see. He's hyped because he's good. And so I think the hype is a little more justified than the Matthias Tell. Matthias Tell was still very unproven at that time. But again, a lot of credible people are saying he wants to join United. He's prioritizing United. He's told other clubs that he wants to join United, which is why other people are backing off. I don't believe the Spurs rumor. I think it's lazy journalism. You see it all the time. Ronald Koeman went to Barcelona. He was linked to so many Dutch players. Ten Hag came to United, linked to a lot of his former players. Now, he didn't help by signing a lot of his former players, but you see it all the time. It's just part of football, and it's lazy journalism, in my opinion. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but I'm not really worried about it, I guess is what I'm getting at. But I could be wrong. I've been wrong many, many times in my life. So Stephanie says, Højlund played better with Xerxes alongside him in the 2 last season. That's not going to happen with Ruben. Well, Xerxes wasn't, oh, you mean this past season? Yeah, I was going to say Xerxes wasn't here last season, but that was this season. I got to get water. It's hot up here. Gulp, gulp, gulp. So, yes, I don't know what you guys let me know. What do you think the difference is Højlund last season, Højlund this season? Because last season, for being 20 and 21, he looked very good. Like, he did more than what I would have expected in his first season as our only striker, especially considering he was injured. This season, no idea what happened. Really, no one's been great this season. Obviously, you don't sack your manager in November if you're having a good season, but somebody pinpoint what the deal was with Højlund this season, because it's been rough. Lucky says, mentioning I could pay £62 million. Yeah, I don't think we want to pay that because he's entering the final year of his contract, but I think that we're going to have to do something to get it over with. The question is, how much do you think he's worth? United Casters, what if Mbuemo and Spurs get reset? I don't think Brentford are going to want to lose so many players. Brentford are used to losing their best attackers. They've been doing that for years, but we'll see. It doesn't help that they're not really in any other competitions, but neither are we, but we're still in United. So again, at the end of the day, choice between Brentford, choice between United. I even think that a choice between going to Spurs, who are in Champions League, is still not as good as choosing United, in my opinion. But I may be a little biased. Obviously, it's not called Spurs versus everybody. It's called United versus everybody. Stephanie says, "How do we wait next week for our next signing?" You just have to. Are you wondering why its transfer window is closed for a bit? It'll be open again in a couple days. Yeah, I think you're going to see some. Once Monday hits, I think you're going to see some big stuff. Obviously, we don't have to wait until Monday to get stuff done. We can announce stuff. We announced Cunha before the window opened. You can do stuff. I just hope we are, personally. Stephanie says we need a 9 more than another 10 Gyokeres. Yeah. Well, I like Gyokeres a lot. We needed a better striker even when we signed Højlund, so I would say that's the bigger priority. But if Mbuemo is a target for us, I mean, you want to get your targets, you want to get your players. The question is, we got Xerxes, we've got Mount, got Bruno, Ahmad, we've got Garnacho still kicking around. I don't know what's going on with Garnacho. We have a lot of players. We need to figure something out. What are you guys saying in the chat? Who would you prioritize? It is literally split right now, 50-50, Mbuemo or Gyokeres. Let me know who you would prioritize. Who are you more worried about losing out on? And that's who you would prioritize. Brian Mbuemo waiting Manchester United, word of mouth. It's word from a lot of journalists, so it is what it is. Casper says he'd prioritize Mbuemo. Big up, Casper. Stephanie says, I want our midfield quartet to be competitive, and cohesive. Need another DM and a right wing back. Oddly enough, I want a left back more than I want a right wing back, because I feel like with Ahmad, Dallo, you guys know I would sell Dallo, but Mazraoui can fill in there as well. If we're looking at young players like Giovanni Quenda, I would just promote Kamasin or Montato. They're older, or at least Kamasin's older than Giovanni Quenda. He knows the club. Like, that'd be what I would do. I would save money on that right wing back role, and I would go look at a little bit more experienced left back. Now, I put out a name a couple weeks ago when I did that video on transfer targets who are not in European football next year, and a left back was featured in that video. You can go check that one out as well if you guys want to see. Samuel says Ed Woodward was obsessed with signing players who were shirt sellers, and that Ed Woodward's job was all about getting us money. That's why we had so many sponsors under Ed Woodward. So you can't say he was bad at that aspect of his job, but it's very difficult for me to give Ed Woodward any sort of compliment. It just is. So, but yeah, the shirt selling thing was just, it was an idiot. Lionheart's big up. It says Benny left. I think that was the reason. Benny left. Rude left. The coaching took a bit of a nose to dive in terms of the focused. And then you could say the system changed completely. I mean, Rude was all about putting numbers in the box, getting those numbered forwards. Obviously, Ten Hag is the one who identified Rasmus and brought him in. So maybe that could be it. It could be a lot. But big up, Lionheart. Good to see you again. Hope you're doing well. Mohamed Kora, another new name. I am all about seeing the community grow tonight. This is like the 5th new name I've seen. Big up, Mohamed Kora. Says, we need Osimhen at all costs if we want to compete next season. Osimhen will hit the ground immediately. Again, for me, it's definitely a toss-up. I like between Gyokeres and Osimhen. I wouldn't be disappointed with either. I would take either. I think I lean a little bit more towards Gyokeres just because I've been watching him longer. I watched him a lot when he was at Coventry, and he knows Amorim's system, so I do think those give him a little bit more of the edge. But if we ended up signing Osimhen, I wouldn't be upset. I would be upset if we signed Osimhen and Gyokeres went to Arsenal, though. That would piss me off royally. But if I flip the coin, I could sit here all day and get Osimhen or Gyokeres, and I wouldn't be bummed about it. But big up my home. I think a lot of people like Osimhen. He's very good, Osimhen. I like him a lot too. But big up Ishua Rama. Right when I say more new faces, we get another one. We are waiting Romero. What's that? What does that mean? Let me know. Like he says, United, Eze, Brian Mbuemo, Semenyo. I'm not as keen on Semenyo. I'm not as keen on Mateta. Mateta's in his mid-20s and he's had it's an all right season. Mateta's not the answer to the goal scoring issue, I guess is what I'm getting at. Just like I said that about Liam Delap as well. He wasn't the answer to the goal scoring problems. Teresa says, in my opinion, Rasmus is trying hard to excel and it showed in his frustrations. He needs to be mature. Yeah, I mean, he's still young. It's just the regression from him this season has just been, and I think with Rasmus, it's all mental. I think it is literally, he's getting in his own head. He's overthinking, he's doubting. And that's why you constantly see him kind of making the wrong choice. Now, some of that is just experience. As you get older as any player, you're gonna, like, a lot of that stuff will become second nature and you don't have to think about it as much, but you have to have the experience. Now, I think he's just getting into his head right now and he's just, it's not helping. Someone needs to sit him down and just do your thing, man. Just keep it simple, focus, calm down, and it'll be fine. Don't force it. Like he says, Monday window open, United, I would act fast. Yeah, what are you guys saying here? Oh, it's tipping a little bit in Mbuemo's favor right now. Let me know. Is that because some of you want Osimhen? Sammy says, United should put some of our youngsters on loan to the Championship and the Bundesliga. Yeah, I agree. I think some of them are ready. Scanlon, Lacey, like I said, Kakonki. Some of these guys are ready. I think some of the news, like Diego Leon is going to have to chill with the academy because I do think I need him to get used to the United system before I would think about putting him on loan. But he did just turn 18. But I want him in the academy. I want to get them familiar with things and let him get used to the system. So Stephanie says 14 votes, 20 likes, 20. Yes, keep hitting that like button, you guys. Get involved in the votes. I want to know what you guys are thinking. On Ekitike, though, did you notice, too, now that these Ekitike things are popping up, that Sky are now running with this Ekitike could cost United up to £85 million headline. Now, we've only been linked to Ekitike 24 hours. Other clubs have literally been linked to him for weeks, but now all of a sudden United are linked, and the headline is Ekitike could cost United up to £85 million. Like, no one wants to sit here and say Ekitike could cost Liverpool £85 million. Chelsea, no, because no one gives a shit about Liverpool or Chelsea. Literally, no one cares. You'll not see a word about how much Florian Wirtz costs and how much he's getting paid. You won't see a word about it, just like you don't hear anything about Darwin Nunez. Like, you won't hear about it because we're the biggest draw. But that's just the way it is. We get clicks. Like, people, it's low-hanging fruit to try to bash us to get clicks. It just is what it is. I just thought that was hilarious. If you want more proof that we're draw, so according to Martin Ziegler, another journalist, I think he's with the Times, don't quote me on that, but apparently the stat popped up earlier that matches involving United defied the overall drop in Premier League viewing figures last season, despite us finishing 15th. So matches that we were involved in actually got more views despite the overall drop in Premier League viewing numbers. So thug life, get you some of that, guys. You can't cheat your way to that. You can't buy your way to that. You can't do anything to get that kind of pull, that kind of stature. That's just who we are. That's who we are. Sammy wants to know, do you think that the Club World Cup is a glorified charity shield? I absolutely do think the Club World Cup is a glorified money grab tournament. Look at who's broadcasting it. Look at how much bullshit money. Look at the clubs that are in it, for fuck's sake. It is an absolute nothing tournament. You can throw as much money as you want to at it. It is absolute nonsense. It is nonsense. Just like the Nations League. The Nations League is literally just a way to get international friendlies to kind of have some sort of worth. It doesn't. Nations League has been around for like 2 years now. It's nothing. They're international friendlies. I don't watch them. I don't care. Ronaldo can lift the trophy all he wants to. It means fuck all at the end of the day. Katu, welcome to the channel. Loving the new names. Who do you think will surprise us next season from our current squad? Cheers. Oh, who do you think will surprise us next season from the current squad? Oh, that's a tough one. I'm trying to think now off the top of my head. I'm going to say, oh, I want to say, I would probably say Xerxes or Dorgu, personally, in terms of surprises, because I was going to say like Ahmad, but I wouldn't be surprised by anything about Ahmad. I'm going to say Xerxes or Dorgu. Dorgu came in January. He's very young, basically was thrown in the deep end, no preseason. Granted, none of these players have had preseason. Xerxes, I think that once he really started to find his groove in the side, then he picked up that hamstring injury, and we didn't really get to see it. I think that Xerxes could surprise us, and I do think that Dorgu with a preseason can surprise us as well. But big up, good question, Katu. You guys let me know your thoughts in the chat there. Lucky says United, unless like Eze is a stopgap winger. Eze, I mean, as one of those tens, I think we got Mbuemo, we got Cunha. I think we'll be good. Let me get through some of these chats here. Samuel says Morton Hillman from Sporting Lisbon would be a good signing. I like Morton Hillman a lot. You guys know that I used to have a scouting website. I showed you guys that scouting report I did on Gyokeres when he was at Coventry. I don't have the website anymore. You might be able to still be able to find it, but I did one on Hillman when he was at Lecce still, before he went to Sporting. Incidentally enough, I also did one on Ugarte when he was still at Sporting. Scouting is, I love scouting. I love looking at players from around different countries and things. It's like Yashar. You guys know I've been on the Yashari thing since before he's been mentioned. But big up, Samuel. Teresa, I don't want to be negative, but signing all these experienced league players, aren't United falling into the same expenses they want to avoid? Not necessarily. I mean, we're building a little bit. So again, we've agreed to pay the release clause for Cunha, but we're not paying 62 million up front. We're paying 20 million, 20 million, 20 million. So you're spreading it out. That's how PSR works a little bit. I don't think we're falling into the same trap because it's a totally different recruitment. It's a totally different plan. It's a totally different kind of identity moving forward. So the difference is we're not going to be unless we sack Amorim like next season. We're not going to be stuck with players. But even then, I wouldn't think we're stuck with players because I think some of these players represent what we're trying to build as a club. Remember, Dorgu was linked to United last spring before Amorim was a thing, and so I think we're starting to build players, build a squad, build an identity for the future. And Amorim is a part of that, similar to how Jurgen Klopp was a part of that plan. It wasn't we appointed Jurgen Klopp. Now, who does Klopp want? It was this is how we want to play. Jurgen Klopp suits that. Let's bring him in. And that's why Liverpool, when you're 10 years into a project, when you're 10, you have an identity. That's why Arne Slot can come in to a side that's been built, that's got a system, that's won things, that's top notch, and everything moves seamlessly because that's what happens when you stick to the plan. Jurgen Klopp didn't do anything for 4 years when he was there, but they stuck to the plan. They were patient. They didn't just spend when they couldn't get. They waited on Virgil van Dijk until they could get him, and then they got him. They didn't just go out and blow money on somebody just so they didn't look like fools. They were patient, and yes, they suffered a little bit long term, but it's kind of like shooting a bow and arrow. You got to go backwards to go forwards, and that's what a rebuild is. It's not immediate success. It's not, oh, we got it perfect. It's going to take some time. Now, I think that it can be done really well, but that's where your recruitment team is really going to earn their money because good recruitment, good transfer windows, good selling players, good academy prospects, that can make or break a rebuild very early in its infancy. And I think that that's been the biggest issue. To me, it hasn't been about spending. It's been about the way we've been spending. But good question, Teresa. And again, not just mean I'm like right. It's just my way of looking at everything. But yes, like Stephanie says, United linked to everyone. We absolutely are. But Katu says, Xerxes, I agree. Yes, pick up. I don't think we've gotten enough of Xerxes after he's found his role in this side to really see what he's about. But I think we'll see. Casper doesn't think that Ekitike is going to solve the goal problem. Yeah, he's good. I just don't think that I would do that. So Liner says, oh my gosh, don't get me started on the Nations League. Nations League is just, it's international friendlies. That's all it is. And they just called it the Nations League. So now instead of just doing these friendlies, they just, make people, this is how you qualify and whatnot. And you get a trophy from it. If we put a trophy, we put some money at something that's supposed to give it some legitimacy. The same with the Club World Cup. The Club World Cup struggled to get even broadcast rights. It wasn't until late that they got DAZN and then TNT came in later, but it's just a bunch of nonsense. Look at the clubs that are in the Club World Cup, for fuck's sake. Go look at the table and tell me what you think. But I got caught up on the chat. Oh, we're caught up. Look at that. Like it says, glad we have options. We can't get plan A, B, and plan C targets. And here's the thing, like, and this was the other problem too, is that, like, look at Harry Maguire, for instance, or Anthony, for instance. We spent the whole summer chasing Harry Maguire. There was no plan there. It was, this is who we want. This is who we're going to get. We spent the whole summer chasing him. We haggled and haggled and haggled. And at the end, we paid full price. What I want to see now, even for someone that I really like Gyokeres, this is what we want. Take it or leave it. Okay, you don't want it. We're moving on to another target. Like, we can't spend all summer doing this because it'll just fuck us in the long run. Get the targets you want, get them in. This is how much we want. I don't want to see us get bent over anymore. I don't want to see us overpay in wages or fees like we've done so many times. Get your business done, get it done early. If you can't get it done, have somebody else ready and waiting to go. Like, I want the signings done before preseason in July. We have a blessing in this early transfer window starting. We need to take advantage of that. Amorim needs a preseason. He needs time with these players. We can't keep screwing over managers by waiting till mid-August to get signings done. It doesn't help us at all. Lyle loves the bow and arrow analogy. A friend of mine said that before. Thank you. I do use a lot of analogies. I use a lot of analogies with my clients too. I've used the bow and arrow analogy a lot. You guys know I'm a therapist, so analogies are kind of my thing, but big up. Big up. Cash says, do you see Mbuemo? I don't see Mbuemo dragging off to the July. I think it's going to get done probably next week, or it won't get done personally. But that's just my opinion. What do you guys say? Who are you going to prioritize? You guys are going with Mbuemo. Cool. I'm going to end that poll. Thank you for getting involved, you guys. Make sure you hit that like button for me. A little bit of financial news to wrap things up. So, speaking of having money, United's partnership with Marriott Hotels has ended. The hotel chain is not going to be renewing its sponsorship after the deal ended. It's not because they're annoyed or anything. Not because we're shit. I mean, we're shit, but that's not the reason why. The contract just ended, and they just decided not to renew. It has more to do with Marriott cutting costs on their end. They've cut a lot of costs on their end. And so that's just part of it. So on top of that, our training shirt sponsorship with Tezos is expiring this month as well. So we're going to need to get a new sponsor there. I don't think we're going to have a problem getting that. We always have a training ground sponsor. You guys remember Aeon, Tezos and stuff. I think we'll be fine. Don't be surprised to see Ineos on the training ground shirt though, but I think Ineos are going to want to get the money from the sponsorship personally. So, but this is what the, I think is Armstrong. I can't remember. It was so Mark Armstrong, is that his name? That's his job. He got him from PSG. His job is global brands, marketing, sponsorship, partnership, all that stuff. Getting revenue from global, new, innovative ways to bring in attractive partners. So that's his job. We'll get that done. So earn your money, bud. Go get it done, dude. I saw a report on Sky, too, that Spurs are going to begin legal proceedings against Ineos because of their early termination with the sponsorship. Now, remember, every time we play Spurs, every time there's a Spurs match on and it zooms in on the dugout, you'll see the Ineos logo all over the chairs. A lot of people hated that. I wasn't a big fan, but this is just how business works. They have a lot of fingers and a lot of pies. They had a 5-year deal with Spurs that they signed in 2022. This was before Jim Ratcliffe came into the United picture. Now, Ineos, they put out a statement and they say, Ineos Automotive has been a partner of Spurs since 2022, expanding on a partnership agreement that they had in place with the club since 2020. Ineos defends, they say, we have a contractual right to terminate our sponsorship contract, and in December 2024, we exercised that right. So under Ineos think that they were well within their right, contractually speaking, to do that. Sounds like Spurs disagree. Awesome. I mean, you can't be United without having a bit of a shit show of a circus. So I mean, honestly, if obligation to buy means fuck all when it comes to loans, like for Sancho, then anyone can just do whatever they want as far as I'm concerned. Contracts are literally not worth the paper they're printed on in football. So in case you're new, that's the way it works. But like the things, Brian Mbeumo bidding, we need to sort out. And yeah, Anthony needs to go, man. Like if Real, like someone needs to come in and buy him. I think part of me wonders with Rashford, Sancho, Anthony, even Malacia. People forget Malacia. I think clubs are interested. I kind of feel like they're waiting and they're kind of making us sweat a little bit. Like they're waiting till we bring in a couple players. They'll know that we want to do more stuff, but they're going to try to maybe make us sweat so we lower our asking price a little bit. Honestly, I don't care about asking price anymore. Just get these guys off the books. Rashford, Sancho, Anthony, that's like $700K a week. just in wages alone for those three, like get it done. Get it done. That's literally almost 40 million a year in salary for those three. Go. Just go. Get them. I don't care. Get them out. Onana can go too. Add him in too for Kai. Big up, Kai. You're a bit late. We're about wrapping up, bub. Always good to see you, man. Better late than never. Cap says, I really hope we get this wrapped up in Mbuemo soon, just over a month to start a new season once we hit July. Yeah, we've got time. We've got 2 months until the season starts. So I'm not really worried. Like I said, this is a month earlier, the transfer window, than it's ever been. So let's keep that in mind as well. But I'm not too worried about that. But get your final thoughts in, guys, because that's it for me on the news. Ekitike, Gyokeres situation, Mbuemo, all that stuff going on. Hackney, Yashari, we talked about a lot of it tonight, but big up everybody for getting involved. Love seeing the new faces. Love seeing the channel grow, the community grow. Excellent. Best community on YouTube, in my opinion. We're on that road to 3K. Check the memberships too, you guys. You can learn how you can get more involved in the channel. Go check out episode 7 of What If too as well, because we do have the season finale coming, and it's going to be a big one. So go check out that one. And then go check out the United vs. Everybody store. If you scroll down a little bit below your video feed, you'll see a couple of products featured. There's tons more on the website. Go check it out, you guys. They don't cost a lot. I don't make a lot, a couple bucks here and there from each one, but it's more just me having fun with some design. But big up everybody for getting involved. Samuel says, United players this season should try and score from the halfway line and outside the box. Maybe we can get Sir David Beckham to come in and hit a couple from the midfield. So, all right, you guys, I'm going to let you guys enjoy the rest of your Friday. Obviously, I'll be back to chat about all the latest and greatest breaking news as it unfolds. But until then, you guys, enjoy your night. Enjoy your weekend if I don't speak to you right away. And thank you guys for stopping by. I had an absolute blast. Love seeing everybody get involved. So take it easy. Cheers. I'll talk to you in the next one.